Sean Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for him here back in Long Beach, California. I'm at a new business. It's actually Turnomatic Machine Company, Inc. Actually, just kidding. Actually, this is the farm of Justin and his wife, Mia, who have Long Beach mushrooms. And I was back here, I don't know, several months ago. I'll post a link down below to the video that has now over 110,000 views. It's been super popular because people want to learn about growing the mushrooms. And that's what they're doing here in Long Beach. Long Beach Mushrooms had one property, and then they moved into next door because the next door tenant left, and he needed to expand because he's already growing his max capacity mushrooms for an entire year, selling out every week. And he's like, how can I make my business bigger? How can I accomplish my mission to get more people to consume mushrooms locally here, and more importantly, across, where you live? He's like, well, hey, I could get this space next door and build it out, so now I could double my capacity. And now he's on schedule to sell out over 1,000 pounds of mushrooms every single week. So I want to give you guys an update of his build out here and his farm. And then we're going to sit down with Justin because, a lot of you guys that are mushroom growers already, you guys know how to grow mushrooms really good, right? You get your systems dialed in. Mushroom growing, that's the easy part, especially like most farming or growing microgreens. That's the easy part. But the problem is once you have all the stuff you're growing, because farmers are farmers, they're not marketing people. I went to business for marketing. That's my specialty. That's what my degree's in. We're gonna sit down with Justin and give you guys the 10 tips to sell out of your mushrooms every week like they do here at Long Beach Mushrooms. But first, let's go ahead inside and give you guys a quick tour. All right, so you're at a cool place when you got a nice mushroom mat and then they still don't got no real signs because they've been too busy focusing on building the business than like making a sign. Long Beach Mushrooms, and generally they don't have people come by here. All right, so hopefully in the future they have a little pickup area in this area here, but for now they're actually offering the mushroom grow kits. They didn't have this last time I was here, but now they're offering the mushroom grow kits on their website at longbeachmushrooms.com. Also on their website they may have some other different tinctures and other things they're selling. Anyways, let's go back into the back of the property and show you guys what they've been up to at Long Beach Mushrooms. All right, so we're just gonna run you through quick how they do it here. Growing mushrooms is not rocket science, but you gotta have everything down pat or you can get contamination. So the first step is they bring in pallets of the wood pellets, and more importantly, the GMO-free soy hull crumbles. They basically put these in their bagging machine, custom-made bagging machine where they have it in here, and then they put the bags underneath here, and then they just press the button, and then they have everything in the bag. They then take the bag and then pasteurize them in the pasteurizing machine. And then they take them into the lab and inoculate these bags. And they let them sit, and then the bags go next door. This is their basic run through. Into the incubation room, where the bags then start to grow the mushrooms. You get the substrate and the mushrooms start to form. So you can see they're in all different stages inside here. And then once they're at the right stage, then they take them to the new grow room, which is on site, which is the whole new half of the building. Let me show you guys that next. All right, so this is where they knocked out part of the wall to the neighbor's property, which now they're renting. And you can see they put in this big walk-in. And this big walk-in is made out of these K-Cold ink panels. And these panels are huge, but look, I can pick this whole thing up myself, one person. And instead of doing traditional construction, all these panels could be removed and then resold. It also was less expensive to put these panels in to make these grow rooms than a traditional construction would. And then they have these, and it's actually called to panels if you want to learn about them. And they have these cool sliding doors because this hallway is too narrow to have like a door that opens on a hinge. So they have these slider doors. So go ahead and open it up. And this is where they grow out the bags. So check it out. We'll go in here. And instead of using the grow tents like in the previous video, they now got like a 55-gallon drum, and they're basically misting it in here to keep it the right humidity. And you guys can see they got the lion's mane growing out in here. They got some different kinds of oysters and probably shiitakes growing in here. There's some really cool like blue oysters growing. So yeah, this is all the mushrooms they're growing in their new facility, and they're gonna even add more racks and add more space in here because they have 2 of these grow rooms. So now they can produce well over 1,000 pounds a week of mushrooms, which is absolutely insane. So he's got growing down pat. So after the mushrooms are harvested from the grow rooms, they either go in these coolers here meant for farmers markets or restaurants, or actually just get shipped right out to the farmers markets or restaurants in the area. So let me show you guys some of the leftover harvest they have inside here. You guys can see these are the different mushrooms they have. They got different kinds of colored oysters and maybe some shiitakes. This side they got some lion's mane down there. So this is what they're producing. Over 1,000 pounds a week is what they're on track to do with the expanded grow rooms. So the challenge is they're growing the mushrooms, but then they also have something left over when they're done. They have the leftover substrate, which is basically what the mushrooms grew in, that only is used for a certain amount of time, and then is basically a waste product. But Long Beach Mushrooms also is trying to keep it in the community, keep the resources that they're generating in the community for the betterment of the community. So actually they're giving it away, the substrate, which can be used to compost, add to your garden, to build soil, to even some of the substrate is so good that you could actually grow it out again and have free mushrooms, guys, which is amazing that they're doing that. And of course, some substrates can be not good to grow out, and the nicer stuff is. So that's why you want to get here in the morning on Saturdays, first thing, and that's when they put out their substrates for free for gardeners and for people to pick up. So I want to show you guys that next. So every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock sharp, they basically will roll up the back door, and we're here at 1969 Obispo here in Long Beach, and this is when they give away their spent substrate that was used to grow the mushrooms. So this is like mushroom compost basically, because it's basically the soy and the wood chips, and then they've inoculated it already with the fungus, and they grew it out, and they have just a spent substrate. So, you know, some weeks it's gonna be nicer than others. Some of the substrates can be probably grown out again. Some of them is like just good for compost. But yeah, all this stuff they give away for free to local gardeners, the local community. They have partnerships with local community gardens that may even pick it all up. So you may get here and they may not have any because they're already spoken for. But if you get here early, you're more likely to get some. And then any stuff that they aren't able to give away for free on Saturday then gets recycled. So this is basically the food waste, which gets composted from the industrial city, composting. So it still goes to build soil in the local community. So nothing is wasted here at Long Beach Mushrooms. Besides selling all their mushrooms, they give away the substrate so that you guys out there could grow a healthier garden. So the big component of this episode today is that all this would not work if they weren't able to sell all the mushrooms they're producing, right? They wouldn't be able to give away the free substrate so that they could help encourage other gardeners in the area to do this if they weren't making money. So they're making lots of money selling over 1,000 pounds a week once they got their new facility in production, which is going to be probably next week or two. And so now we're going to go ahead and sit down with Justin, and he's going to show you guys his 10 tips on how he sells out his mushrooms every single week, and you can too. So now the pleasure of interviewing Justin from Long Beach Mushrooms, and he is a fungi. Haha, that was a joke. All right. So Justin, we're going to talk about, how do you sell all the mushrooms you grow? I mean, last episode we focused on the growing aspect. Once again, link down below to that video. But this episode, a lot of you guys may already be mushroom farmers, but how do you sell it to actually make a living? I know a lot of people have started mushroom farms like out of their garage, in a spare bedroom, all these kinds of things. Once you grew the mushrooms, how do you get the money for it, right? And that's what he's been specializing in. So Justin, how long have you had your business here in Long Beach growing mushrooms?
Been doing it for 3 years.
3 years, and how has the sales been from start to now?
We've been selling out
every single week.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, our problem from day one has been we don't grow enough mushrooms.
So that's why you double your, you tripled or quadrupled your space now, because now you have on-site grow rooms that are way larger than your other grow rooms.
Yep. Our new grow rooms will allow us to do 3x what we normally do.
3x. And then, so how many mushrooms will that be a week that you'll be now selling out of?
It's going to be 12 to 1,500 pounds a week.
12 or 1,500 pounds. That's how much he sells. So this guy is good at selling. You never know. He's such a humble guy here. So let's get into that, Justin. So the first thing is, how do you sell your mushrooms? Who do you sell them to?
Yeah, we sell them to We're selling at direct-to-consumer at farmers markets. We do subscription models where people pick up mushrooms at our farm. We partner with local restaurants, and we also do a little bit of wholesale, not a lot, but we do a little bit from time to time.
All right, so here's the secret, right? Which one of those it has the largest percentage of sales? Like, which one moves the most mushrooms?
For us right now, it's the farmers markets by far. We're probably doing about 75% of our sales in farmers markets.
Now, here's the thing. What is the most consistent?
To be honest, it's the farmers markets.
Really? Well,
yeah.
We are here in Southern California,
Yeah.
where people are very health conscious, and we just came from 2 farmers markets myself, and I mean, they're packed. The mushroom guy at the farmers market we went to was actually, he had like a few things left. He was basically sold out also. So, I mean, this is a good place to start a mushroom business, and depending on where you live, the farmers market may or may not be the best place to sell them, right? Maybe it could be a different channel, but, you know, Justin has experience with all the different channels of selling them. So now we're going to learn the 10 ways to sell out your mushrooms every week. So Justin, what's the first way that's the most important that people should be doing to move their mushrooms?
To me, the most important thing by far is to really connect with the purpose of your brand, the purpose of your farm. For us, it's really simply to grow food where it's eaten. And how we connect with that is, you know, we only have a certain amount of mushrooms to sell. So when we sell those mushrooms, we make sure we do it with the greatest intentions possible. So for instance, if we are going to sell to a restaurant, we also make sure that that restaurant aligns with what we're doing. It's not just a transaction. To us, it's really an exchange of energy. So for us if we're going to sell our mushrooms with the intention or the purpose of growing food where it's eaten, we would love for our restaurant partner to actually share those values too. So the first thing is to have a really strong mission that you're connected to, and then also make sure that it's not just a transaction. You're growing that mission with every sale.
So how does that? Somebody watching this, they're thinking, okay, that sounds great, Justin, but how does this make me money? How do I actually sell mushrooms by having a good mission and purpose?
People connect to missions. What I get from that is, like, I'm not here to sell every single mushroom that's ever been sold. I'm just being true to myself and what I believe in. And what I get is, if I'm authentic and I am true to myself and my business lives that, we are going to find our customers, because there's people out there who believe what we believe. And those become our customers. We're not here to get the full market share. We're just here to, you know, really grow our mission and fulfill our purpose.
I see. So here's the thing, guys. If you guys have a mushroom farm and don't have a mission statement, start one. So Justin, how would somebody put together a mission statement for their mushroom farm? Obviously, you didn't repeat your mission statement for people out there, because they could copy it too. You could have the same. He won't get mad if you copy his mission statement. And I mean, I'd agree with his mission statement also. But what is your mission statement, and how do you come up with it? And how would somebody come up with one so that they could really get on track and get more focused into that mission, and then bring other people into that mission, into that story, to get them to follow on and believe in your mission, so that they believe in you and then give you their dollars? That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, our mission statement here is to grow food where it's eaten. It's really simple, and I actually get that the more simple a mission is, the better, because we can remember it, and then if we can remember it, we can live it every day. How to come up with the mission statement? I mean, the best thing to do is just to figure out what you believe in. What's
values? What are your values?
Yeah, what are your values?
Like, values for him is like, you know, he started growing tomatoes, and they're like, whoa, these tomatoes are out of this world, you know, the stuff I grew, and he started watching me back in the day. Yep. And it's like, now he's like, how can I get high quality mushrooms out to people and have them locally so it's more sustainable for the planet?
Yeah, the mushrooms really gave us our mission statement, because what we were saying is, how come we can't, there's all these varieties of mushrooms out there, how come they're not in grocery stores?
Yeah, you just get like the stupid buttons and creminis. I hate those.
And then we find out it's because they have a longer shelf life, and they can ship. Like, they can handle the rumble tumble of shipping. So then we were like, we're buying mushrooms from Pennsylvania, from wherever, and we're Canada, and we're like, well, if we grow food where it's eaten, then we can actually have all the variety that's out there, you know? Yeah.
So yeah, guys, come up with a mission statement. That's so important. Live it, enact it, put it on your website, tell it to people, and kind of get them to join in and agree with your mission statement. Then they will be your customer, instead of just going with some random mushroom company that just wants to get their money, right? People believe in missions. All right, Justin, so what is the second way to get rid of all your mushrooms and sell them out every single week?
For us, so we talked about farmers markets being
the number one.
Our number one where we do most sales right now. So there's a few tips that are tied into that.
So for farmers markets, tips on, so sell at a local farmers market and then use these tips.
Yep, exactly. The first one is to really invest. We really invest into our sales staff. Like, we pay them at a commission rate that is higher. Probably double the rate of everybody else at the farmers market. And the reason why is that we believe that our farmers market staff are not just employees or salespeople, they're actually ambassadors of our brand. And when they go out there, we want them to be happy. We want them to feel proud of what they're doing. And a great way to do that in the business world is
reward them financially.
Yeah, so
everybody needs to pay their bills.
Yeah, so then our sales staff, when they get to the market, they're excited to be there. They're excited to make friends and to have
relationships, and then of course make some money.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a huge one for us, is that we invest into our sales team through financial through money, but also with education. Like, none of our sales staff only does sales. They all also do things on the farm, and the reason for that is now they are equipped and they're able to go out there and educate as well when they go out to sell.
So they know the product better than just this normal person, because they've grown it, they've done it, they've worked a shift in here, they've worked a shift to do the other things. And
exactly, and they also get to be proud, because when they roll up, they're selling a product they said
they grew
from beginning to end. They had their hands in it, so now they get the reward of being able to sell it to somebody. Yeah, and see how happy it makes them.
Wow. So let's talk about some other tips from the farmers market. So like you were telling me about, like, you give your salespeople flexibility to try different things and don't just do things as one way that you think is right. And tell us how that increased your sales by, 50% or more?
Yeah, that was a crazy story. So we actually understand that every farmer's market is different.
Yep.
Like, the culture of every farmer's market is so different. Some of them are in there to get their shopping done, and it's in and out quick. There are other markets where people like to hang out, and it's more of an occasion for them, a day out. So we actually give our sales staff free reign to try anything that they want to try. They do clear with us. We have a conversation around it. But what happened was, we had a farmer's market, an employee who she said, like, there's certain mushrooms, when we put them together, they look beautiful. It's like a bouquet of flowers. And at that time, we were selling mushrooms individually.
Right, yeah, that's how they always do it at places.
Yeah, and she said, can I make a mixed box, and I want to arrange it like a flower bouquet? I was like, go for it, try it. And she sold out of all of her, she sold out.
And she never used to sell out.
Yeah. And
by just arranging them different. It's all the packaging, guys.
And she actually broke, she holds the sales record for a single day at a farmer's market. Yeah.
Wow. So make mushroom bouquets, and that's another thing, is grow diversity. And especially the other tip I'll give is, you want to have the colorful mushrooms, right? Because people love the colors that pop. They don't want to see all the gray mushrooms. Grow some blues and some yellows and reds and whatever other colors they come in. I don't know. Yeah. All right, Justin, so what's the next tip? It's probably what we talked about.
The next tip is to have variety at our table. We not only have variety, but we also are constantly changing our variety up. So people get excited. We can build up to something, and everybody loves to be able to see variety on the table. It gets, it's appeasing to the eyes. But also it gets people excited, because I think in variety is just a lot of excitement. So that's what we do. We try to bring out 4 to 6 varieties, and then we're constantly shifting what we're growing. So we'll probably cycle out one variety and grow something new, so we could bring something that's exciting to the customer.
Right, yeah. I mean, how boring is it to just go to the grocery store, and when people think mushrooms, they think like the button mushrooms, right? That's just so boring, but they want to see all these different varieties. And when you switch them up, it makes it exciting, because like when I go to the farmer's market, I always look for the new shit. Like, what's the new stuff I'm going to find this week? And this week I found the GA669 jujubes, which are I knew about them, but those are really good. And I look for the weird, different stuff. And that's what people are looking for. They're looking for the next culinary thing that they have eaten, or if they're into health, right? Every mushroom has a little bit different health benefits. And then he could grow different ones, and then he will basically, they do with baseball cards, will phase them out and then he'll phase them back in, right? It's like Costco. If you ever go to Costco, Costco's known for always bringing in new items, so you want to go walk the store and see what's new at Costco. But then also Costco will mess you up, because then they'll I thought the home appliances were here, but then they move it to the middle, and they're always changing their layouts too, so then you don't know where anything is. So that's kind of like making things exciting at the farmer's market, bringing in more varieties to get people to try things, so that then once again they spend more dollars with you because you're the mushroom guy that has 5 varieties, 4 varieties, 6 varieties, instead of the mushroom guy that has like the same variety every single week that gets boring. So that's an excellent tip, Justin. All right, Justin, so what's the 4th method to sell out every week of mushrooms?
The 4th method is we use all social media platforms as a window, as a marketing tool. First of all, they're free, which is great. And second of all, we can reach so many more people and be really intentional about our reach on social media. And what we're trying to do on social media is just add value to our product. Like our mushrooms already have value. How can we give them more value? And we do that by showing people how we grow it. A lot like what you do, a lot of stuff that you do. Like, bring people into our farm, show like through social media, show them what we're doing. Restate our mission statement. We tease products all the time. If there's something new and something that we're excited about, and we want to, get people excited about it too, we'll start teasing it. Like if we're growing a new variety of mushroom or something like that, we'll show them, hey, we're growing this new variety. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. Coming soon, and that's a great way to do it. We can also, that's direct to consumer, but we can also target a lot of restaurants through social media. So what we do is we look at, anytime there's a new restaurant that pops up in Long Beach or in our local area, we'll go follow them on Instagram, and we start seeing if they're potential partners with us. A lot of times they'll post like the dishes they're making and things like that, and if we see something that has mushrooms in it, then we know they use mushrooms, and we'd reach out.
All right, cool. So how do you reach out to the restaurants in the area when you see them on Instagram or whatever? You just DM them, or what do you say, like cold call? Or?
Yeah, it's pretty much a cold call. A lot of times we'll just DM them. But we'll probably start off first by liking, commenting, like building a relationship. Especially if it's something that we're already excited about, which typically is what we do. Is we find a restaurant that's doing something really cool, and we're just excited and we're genuinely curious about what they're doing. So we follow them, and then we'll start liking, building a relationship through that. And a lot of the restaurants that we partner with now, we built a relationship through Instagram. That's how we met, and now they're friends of ours. And another great tool about Instagram is we can also cross promote, and that's what we do often. We actually have it we build it into our budget to go eat at the restaurants that we partner with, and then when we go do that, we also shoot footage. Well, if there's a dish with our mushrooms in it, we'll spotlight it. We'll take a video. Maybe we'll talk to the chef a little bit about that dish. And then we just let people know, hey, there's if you go to this restaurant, our mushrooms are on the menu. Come check it out, and it's just a great way to cross promote. People love to see that other small businesses are collaborating, so that's something that we do too.
Cool. So then, how do you reach out to just end customers on Instagram and other social media? Like, how do you attract them to your business and your mission statement, and how do you get them kind of in to know what you're doing so that they desire and want to buy your mushrooms?
Yeah, I mean, the first tip is to post often. My wife Mia does pretty much all the Instagram. She's great at storytelling. She's genuinely always excited about what we're doing. She doesn't get to be here all the time because she does work a 9-to-5 job. So when she comes in the week, she's excited about all the new things that we're doing. She'll just shoot footage of it, and essentially I think it's coming from the lens of like, well, I'm excited about what we're doing, so I want other people to know what we're doing too, because they'll get excited about it as well. So it's not like a ton of, like, we don't sit down and really like, it's just like, what are we genuinely excited and curious about, and let's just share it.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. I mean, that's what I do with my videos. I just like, what am I excited about? I'm just going to film it and put videos out for you guys.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, so what's the 5th way to sell out of your mushrooms every week?
The 5th way is to stay local.
Now, how is that going to sell you out of your mushrooms, man, staying local? Like, say you live in, Long Beach is huge. Say you live in a town of 5,000 people. Maybe you don't have to be your city. Maybe it could just be like within 20 miles around you or something.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Staying local is just a concept.
Right.
It's like how close can your end customer be to your product? And all I'm getting to is like the closer the better. What we've learned is the further away we get from Long Beach, the less valuable our brand is, and the harder it is to, not the harder it is to sell, but the less added value we get. So for instance, if we're in Long Beach and we can deliver to a restaurant that's 2 miles away, not only are they close, but they're excited about the product because we're in the community with them. And then it's almost like a great way to have like word of mouth on steroids, because now that restaurant's going to tell everybody about us. And we've learned the further away we get from our farm. So let's say we service somebody like that's 20 miles away, they have less ownership in the relationship, because they're not like, it's not bad, but we live in different communities now. And we've learned that the closer we stay to the farm, the more excited people are, the more people they'll tell. And even though the end sales amount might be, like if I could sell to this restaurant at X amount of pound, at X, a set price, and this customer that's 20 miles away will pay the same price, but we get more value from selling close because
you don't have to transport them as long.
Too.
Also, I mean, just little things, the labor to deliver or whatever. All right.
Yeah.
So then, how can somebody use this tip to strengthen their sales and their business? I guess is the questions. I mean, maybe in California, people are more into this local stuff because I mean, this is all about being more sustainable here in California. And, you know, I don't know, in the middle of Delaware, people give a crap less about local stuff, right?
Yeah, I think the overall concept is like, how can you partner with somebody? How can you sell your mushrooms to somebody that's a true partnership, where they reciprocate the amount of energy you give?
And then what are ways that you can lead them into reciprocating versus just having a one-way, you selling to them and the deal's done?
Yeah, that's actually...
How can you create the reciprocation is the question.
That's great. I mean, that kind of goes back to what we talked about before, like how we spotlight partners. Like, what value can we bring that business? Because it's they're paying for our mushrooms. That's energy going one way. How can we reciprocate and give something back to them? And it is spotlighting. It's eating at their restaurant. It's telling our friends about that restaurant. It's being proud that we're part of that restaurant. And then we also do fun things too. Like we'll have chef dinners, like gratitude dinners at the end of the year, and we'll bring every chef that partners with us. We'll bring to our home. We'll cook them a meal. It's just about building a relationship.
So you're building a relationship. I see. So you're basically like, so they're buying from you, and then you're like, oh, they're helping me out. So now I'm going to eat at the restaurant. I'm going to promote them. And then when you do that, they see that, and then they like, hey, how can I help Long Beach Mushrooms out more than just buying them? Oh, I could tell other people that I use them. And so then you start like, you know, creating like a friendship basically with your people instead of just, oh, they're just my customer. Like you know them, you know, you're tight. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, exactly. It's about building community, and it's a lot easier to build a community with your neighbor than it is someone that's
far away, because you're going to see your neighbor a lot more often than somebody 20 miles away. All right, cool. So that brings us into the next sixth method to sell out every week.
Yeah, it's to build a community.
So how do you build a community, man? Those are easy words. Build a community, 3 words. But dude, I mean, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do, man? What are the tips to build the community around your mushroom farm?
Yeah, we do community events.
So what do you mean community events?
So we'll have every year we do an open house, and that's where it's typically around Halloween. We're gonna push it back a little bit this year, but that's where we'll open up our farm. We'll essentially throw a party and invite all of our
free beer.
Sometimes, and then we just invite people, like anybody who wants to come. It doesn't matter.
How do you get the word out about your open house?
We'll go to Instagram. We'll go to all the social media platforms. We'll go to our apps like Nextdoor, Facebook groups, things like that. Anything that's aligned with this local area, we'll put it out there, and we'll have people come. And all it's about is having people come, check out our farm, having a good time, getting to know us, and then giving back a little bit too. Typically, we'll make mushroom tamales that are so good, and we'll just give those away. We also made like mushroom dusted popcorn. It's just to get people in and let them know that we're in this community too. Like, you know, we're not here to we're not a business in the community. We're community members who have a business.
That's a good point. So, but the question is, how much does it cost you to put this party on, man? Like, buying the free beer? No.
Just think about it as an investment.
And it's a write-off, too. Yeah. I mean, you know, you put it back in, and you're going to get paid off in the future, you know, because now maybe you found that next restaurant owner that came to your community event, your open house, that he would have never bought from you, but he did because, oh, that place is cool, man. I see how they did it, right? You never know what kind of relationships you'll be creating by reaching out more to the community and bringing them in instead of trying to stay all like, oh, our business is top secret, man. Yeah. Don't do that. It's not good. All right, Justin, so we're drawing down the bottom end of this. So what's tip number 7?
Tip number 7 is to have free offerings.
Free offerings. So what, you give away free mushrooms?
We do sometimes. Actually we do sometimes. If we have a surplus, like a bumper crop that comes in a lot, what we'll do is we'll actually package them up and just blast it on social media. Hey, we have too many mushrooms this week. Does anybody want some?
Wow.
That doesn't happen all the time, but our free offering that we do...
So follow them on social media, their links are down below, if you live locally.
We do raffles and give away things through our social media, but our free offering that we give away every week is our spent substrate.
Ah.
So after our mushrooms have grown one flush, we'll harvest that, and that block has plenty of energy and plenty of life left to grow more and more mushrooms. So we give that away every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And we, along with giving it away, we also educate. We let people know, so it's less intimidating, like how to grow more mushrooms. Is that what they want to do?
What they use substrate, so they could grow more mushrooms, or they could, compost it.
They can compost it. They can use it for mulch. We feed our worm bins with it all the time. So we will educate people on how to use it. We actually partner with a lot of community gardens here, and a lot of our spent substrate, truckloads of spent substrate goes to community gardens. I even have people who pick up spent substrate every week, and they grow so many mushrooms out of it, they don't buy a mushroom from us. But what we get from that is that they'll go and they tell all their friends about us. So it's almost like I said, kind of like word of mouth on steroids.
It's creating relationships, because now this dude loves you. You're giving them free substrate. They're growing their mushrooms. Like, dude, Long Beach mushrooms, they're the bomb.
Yeah.
From free substrate, which is technically a waste product, which many mushroom farms maybe just throwing away and paying the garbage company to take away. He's creating basically relationships and then creating a business around it to make more business and, once again, build more community.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow, dude, you're so smart, dude. It's amazing. Yeah. All right, Justin, what's tip number 8 to sell out of your mushrooms every week?
Yeah, tip number 8 is to hold classes.
Wait, how is holding classes going to get you to sell more mushrooms every week, dude?
So there's a lot of people who are really interested in mushrooms, but they are relatively intimidated by them. There's a lot that goes into it that people don't understand, or it's hard to grasp. It's a little bit abstract. So we hold classes, and in those classes we teach people how to grow mushrooms at home, or we teach them how to make we have a class that's called Make Your Own Grow Kit. So they can come in and make their own grow kit, choose a variety, see the process and all that. And what we're getting from that is, number one, they do pay, like these are paid classes. But number two, what we really get is a customer, or we build a relationship with somebody who maybe was intimidated by mushrooms, and now they know a little bit, so they're less intimidated. And if they want to grow it themselves, definitely, like that's part of the class. That's what we try to do with the class. A lot of times, though, people actually realize it's a little bit harder to go. So
then they become a customer for life. It's like, that place is cool. I've seen how they do it. They try to teach me, but I don't want to do it. That's me, man. I don't want to try to grow mushrooms. I'm glad to support Justin here.
Yep, that's exactly what happens. Yeah.
And then you could sell them blocks. Man, you're a genius, dude. All these little ways to basically sell people without them even knowing it. I mean, once again, in creating relationships, creating community, we got to highlight that, guys. You're not just selling mushrooms. You're creating community, creating relationships. That's so important to any kind of selling, not just in farming. All right, Justin, so what's the 9th tip to sell out of mushrooms every week?
The 9th tip is sales in general is a numbers game.
Everything's a number. I mean, if you're single and you're asking girls out, the more girls you ask out, the more dates you're going to get, right?
The more restaurants we reach out to, the more leads we can create. That's what, just the more opportunities to sell leads to more sales. It also allows us to really find out who our ideal customer is. Our ideal customer in a restaurant is somebody who reciprocates and will put us on a menu. So if we reach out to 50 restaurants and we find a handful, we find 5 that are willing to do that, that's amazing.
So is that written into the contract, or how do you get them to say that hey, you're using Long Beach mushrooms on your menu?
It's not written into the contract at all. It's not anything that's implied that we won't do business with somebody if they don't do that. But in reaching out to many people, what we found is if we reach out to a lot of restaurants, we'll find the restaurants that are just excited, just genuinely excited to get in communication with us again. So that's definitely one way. But it's also a numbers game in the sense that we have to contact the best relationships we have. Chefs are so busy, they forget. They forget to put orders in.
You have to call them to, hey, do you guys need your order this week? We're getting on the deadline or whatever.
Exactly. And the more the numbers game is, the more times we reach out, the more times we keep in communication, the easier it actually is for a chef to put in an order.
Yep.
So a lot of times in the beginning, what we would do is we would sell to a chef, and then next week would come around and we're like, oh man, he didn't put in an order again. We're all bummed. And then we were able to shift that context to realize no, it's not because he doesn't want the product. It's because he's busy.
Everybody's busy.
He's busy like figuring out the menu for the week. He's busy ordering everything else. And then to think too, if he's buying direct from us, a lot of restaurants will buy from a wholesaler.
Yeah, it's easy for them to get it from the wholesaler.
They'll get everything in one place. So it's hard for, like, it's not on the top of their mind to reach out to this one mushroom farm who's over here, separate from their other orders. So we just realized, like, the more times we call, the more we keep in touch, the stronger the relationship gets, the more likely they're gonna place another order. And sometimes, you know, things just change. Like, just because the chef ordered from us 4 weeks in a row, didn't order the 5th week, doesn't mean we're done. We just, in the 7th week, we'll call them again and say, what's up, how you doing? And so just doing that.
Cool. So then the question is, how do you even reach out to restaurants to, you know, have them become your customer? Do you cold call, or what are you doing? What's the technique? Do you go in there with a sample of mushrooms and say, hey man, you know, I brought you some sample mushrooms to try to see if you like it, or what do you do?
Typically what we do is that, but we'll target all the restaurants that are local. I mean, a really easy way to do it, which we do all the time, is we'll just go into Yelp. We'll pick our surrounding area and we'll type
find
in
find the best restaurants in the area.
Best restaurants, or just simply type in like farm to table or something like that, and then a list of restaurants will generate. And then what we normally do is we'll go to their social media first, and we'll follow them on social media and start to get a feel of whether or not this is a partnership that's going to work. You know, both ways. If they're into what we do and we're into what they do, and then if through following their social media we see like, okay, this is a good candidate, then we'll do what we can to get a point of contact. So we'll always DM, because that's the easiest way, and then we'll call. That's a great way. A pretty good trick is to like figure out who, like, go to their tagged pages or tagged pictures on their Instagram, and sometimes you can find a chef. And if you can find a contact of a chef, you can go straight to a chef instead of trying to figure out who's managing these Instagram pages. You can find the chef of the restaurant, then you can go straight to them and then build a relationship from there. And then what we normally do is, like, if we can get a hold of somebody and they're interested, we'll deliver like a 5-pound sample box, you know, enough mushrooms for them to play around with and do something with, and then we'll follow up on that sample box to see how it did for them. And you know, if it's not for them, no hard feelings. We just move on. That's part of the last tip, which is numbers game. Just keep moving on.
Right on. I mean, yeah, everything's a numbers game, guys. You just got to put yourself out there, reach out to people. So the question is, how do you make selling at farmers markets a numbers game?
As of right now, we can't grow enough mushrooms for the farmers markets that we're in. So that's a problem. That's a different kind of numbers problem. But what we did in the beginning was we did our research with farmers markets. So it's not simply just like which ones you can get into, which is part of it. When we're starting out, you know, you just get into whatever one you can get into, because they're very competitive. Like a lot of farmers markets have quotas on how many producers they can have in their farmers market,
or how many kinds of each producer.
Exactly.
Like some farmers markets only have one mushroom guy, and our mushroom guy's already here, they won't even take you.
Yep, exactly. That happens a lot, and you know, there's not much to do about that other than keep trying. You know, market managers, their job is to make sure their market is the best place possible for people to buy their produce, and I definitely get that. So for us, trying to get into a market, we're just constantly trying. And what we typically do is we'll do all the kinds of reach outs. We'll call the number that's listed, we'll apply, we'll show up to the market, talk to the market manager, see if we can get their number or their email, and then we'll just every month we'll reach back out and be like, hey, how are you doing? Like, are you looking for a mushroom vendor? And a pretty good tip, if you are in a competitive place with a lot of mushroom vendors already, is tell them that you're willing to be a sub. So like if their mushroom vendor is not, like, can't make it a week, just let them know, like, hey, we'll jump in. Like if you need somebody on short notice and because they called out, we'll jump in. And what I get from that is, if we jump in, there's an opportunity there to show them how professional we are, how great our product is, and just to let them know that we're willing to do anything. And that's got us into a few markets too. And
create a relationship with the market manager, exactly. So they know you. Perfect.
Yeah.
Another tip I would say is that, you know, if there's multiple farmers markets in your area, go to the farmers market and see, right? And see how many mushroom guys are there already there, right? There's like 10 mushroom guys, you coming in may be a good or bad thing. How will you know if it's a good or bad thing? You want to go to the end of the market. If all 10 mushroom guys are out of mushrooms by the end of the market, that means your market is not saturated. There needs to be more mushroom guys, and also you can do a little bit differently than what they're doing. If there's one mushroom guy and he's just selling creminis and he doesn't have oysters or shiitakes, hey, that's a good foot in the door because now you're seeing an opportunity that is not being fulfilled by the current mushroom farmer. If the mushroom farmer, there's 5 mushroom farmers at the farmer's market, every one of them is totally like stocked with produce or mushrooms at the end of the market because he's not selling out. Don't waste your time with that market. Find another one where they are selling out, right? So yeah, you could use literally these small tips to see the better markets. And of course, let's talk about numbers game as to creating the CSA model, because that also is a numbers game, right? CSA, in my opinion, is better than selling directly to the restaurants because the chefs every week, they may order different amounts, but the CSA, they're getting a set amount every week so that they have to use them, and then they're going to pick up here also, so you don't have a delivery either. So let's talk about how do you get more CSA members to, pick up every week?
Yeah, that can actually be the next tip. It's how to get more of it. For us, is just about like the same marketing channels that we've done.
So do all the social media, create the community.
Yeah, and then lead products, get them excited about something. So for us, it's like part of what we do is we always try to grow new things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Like there's times where we're really excited about a mushroom variety, and for us to be a farm that sustains and makes money, it has to yield us a certain amount. And that doesn't always happen. Sometimes we will grow a mushroom that we'll only get a quarter pound of. But it's a great way to add value to a subscription model, because what you can do is, or what we do is, hey, we're trying this new mushroom. We don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to send it out to our subscribers or our CSA people. They'll get to try it, and we actually want feedback from them. Is this a mushroom that we should keep or not? And that kind of brings extra value into our subscription model, because
they're special.
They're special. They have a say in our farm. We actually do legitimately trust them for feedback because they're eating our product every week. So if there's something that's going wrong, typically the first person that's going to tell us is a subscriber. And if something that they like, typically the first person that's going to tell us is a subscriber. So it's a great way, like, to be as direct to consumer as possible is that for us. And really the value that we get back is their feedback.
So how do you get a subscriber is a question.
That's a great question. We haven't had a problem, so I don't know. Honestly, it's just about, for us, it's just about marketing. So we tell people that we do it. We make it really easy for them to order. We give different kinds of tiers. So if they want to order weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. And then after that, it's just like, after all that's built out, it's how can we get them excited about what we're doing. And typically it's about like new products, teasing products, things like that.
So how do you let people know that you actually have a CSA? Is it on your website where they could sign up fully automatically, or do you tell them at farmers markets? Do you collect like email addresses to like email them out everything, or what?
We do it all. We will at the farmers markets, we'll collect emails, and that'll be part of our email blast. It's on our website. We will post about it on all social media platforms every once in a while, reminding people that we have it. Anytime we do a class or anything like that, we'll mention it. On our webpage, people contact us constantly, and what they'll typically ask is like, how do we buy your mushrooms? And that's an answer that we deliver back. It's like, hey, we have a subscription model. So yeah, just making it easy for somebody. There's a lot of people that want to buy our mushrooms already. It's about like how easy can we make it for them to finish
easily.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, another thing another local farm did is if you order over $20, like they'll deliver for free.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're there on a CSA and they're ordering X amount and they're within certain miles, deliver for free, man. That's like, to make it easy for them so that they don't have to drive to pick it up. You deliver it to them because they're going to be a regular customer. And I want you guys to think about, right, like lifetime value of a customer, right? A lifetime value of a customer that walks up to you from the farmer's market, yeah, they may spend $20 on a couple pounds of mushrooms or a pound or something, right? And then they're gone. Maybe they'll never get to come back, but somebody that's subscribed to your subscription model is spending whatever, $20, $40 every single week with you, right? Over a month, right? What is that, $100, $200 a month, and then times that by a year, and then they're, as long as they're alive, they're gonna buy mushrooms because they like mushrooms to eat them every week. Their lifetime value is a lot more. So you really want to focus on building your subscription base. I mean, one of the things I would say is incentivize your sales crew at the farmers markets to get signups and give them a good sized bonus, even if it's 100% of their first order, because if that customer stays with you forever, dude, you're banking so much more money on that, and it's guaranteed income because you know, oh, I got 10 subscription guys. They each get a pound or a half pound or whatever it is a week, and they're just solid money coming in because you get like, you know, bill them with their credit card on file or whatever you do.
That's something that even when we do community events, we collect emails. The bigger bank of leads that we have, the more opportunities we have to sell. So we'll do that everywhere. We even are intentional about building our following on all of our platforms. It's not like we just post an Instagram video and that's the end of the day. It's, you know, we'll reply to anybody who comments us, we'll reply right away. Anybody who DMs us, we have a standard of replying same day. So we really try to like not only take from social media but also give back. You know, use it as a way to give back. So that's helped us grow our following. Being intentional about following others that are in the similar space as us, we'll do that too. And you know, it's like you said earlier, it's all relationship building. So how authentic can we be in our relationship building on platforms that maybe don't feel so authentic? And you know, if we can do that, I mean, that's what we do. We're really intentional about being authentic on a platform that's maybe not meant to be authentic.
All right, Justin, so we got a bonus tip for you guys, and I know you've been through some struggles, especially with the farm. Like sometimes you have crop failures and things happen. So what's the final bonus tip for everybody out there today?
The final bonus tip is a simple one: is just don't give up. Right? You know, so many things can go wrong. We're dealing with a living crop. So many things can go wrong. Customers are going to come and go. It's really, really easy to beat myself down about those things. But at the end of the day, if we give up, who's going to do this? Yeah. You know? And if our mission is so strong that we want to overcome these obstacles, because a place like this, growing food where it's eaten, you know, like mission statement similar to yours, like this has to happen. And yeah, and if we give, like I said, if we give up, who's going to do it?
Right.
So we can't give up.
Don't give up. All right, Justin, so tell me earlier about like how you really didn't even come up with all these tips, but the mushrooms basically informed you of all this. So you want to share how that relates? Yeah, how the mushroom taught you all this?
Yeah, this is all, a lot of this business stuff we actually learned from just listening to the mushrooms. Like,
how did they talk to you? Like, wait, I hear them saying something.
Pretty much.
They're saying, watch, subscribe and grow on your greens right now.
That's pretty much like staying local. It wasn't a business plan, it was a necessity.
Because they don't ship well and they'll go bad, right?
They'll go bad really fast. We can tell in a matter of like a couple hours in a car, like something as simple as that can bring down the quality.
Wow.
So staying local is a part of, like, we just had to. Having free offerings, giving away spent substrate, it was just because our trash can wasn't big enough. So we're like, what can we do with this stuff?
Turn it into value for others.
Exactly. Right? Social media was just like, we were just really interested in learning things. So we were following more and more people, and as we like commented and build relationships with more and more people on Instagram, our following got bigger. The bigger our following got, the more sales we were having, and we're just like, well, this all makes sense. So we were just excited to share our mushrooms and learn about how to farm mushrooms from other people, and that's how that built out. Sales staff, I mean, if you can see the look on my sales staff's face when they walk into a full grow room, like
they're excited about mushrooms. It's not like, oh, I'm just selling mushrooms. They could be, you know, they really like mushrooms.
Exactly.
They're mycologists in the making.
Exactly. They open up that door, especially if we're growing something new. Everybody's like excited to see how it's doing. And that to me was like, how do we make sure our sales staff carries that excitement over?
Relays that to the customers.
Exactly.
Right?
And they got it from the mushrooms. They're excited because there's new varieties. They look so cool. So how can we kind of bottle that up and make sure that our customers get it too? And that was going into investing into our sales staff and all that stuff. So, I mean, you know, a lot of it is just paying attention to the mushrooms. They kind of let me know what to do. Yeah.
Right on. So hopefully you guys learned after watching this episode the 10 ways plus bonus tip to sell out all your mushrooms each week. So Justin, if somebody wants to contact you, I know you do like consults. So like if somebody needs some hand holding and they got an existing mushroom farm that they're not selling out every week, how can they talk to you directly? Or maybe they want to start a mushroom farm, they could do consults with you to make sure that they're a right fit for you, and you could literally hand hold them and help them build their mushroom empire, whether it's in the sales or the growing aspects, because you've done it all successfully here in Long Beach. How could they do that?
Yeah, I think somebody said earlier, it's like the Mycelium network. Like,
Yeah, Mycelium
how can
network,
we build
yeah.
a network? And what we do, what I'm doing right now is I'm through our website. You can contact us, and when you contact us, you can let us know you want to do a free 15-minute exploratory call. And in that exploratory call, what we're doing, the goal of it is to see if there is a partnership there. Is there something I can offer you that's going to help you get going to where you want to be? And then after that exploratory call, we'll figure out what the next steps are. But really, it's about, again, building relationships. So that's what I do with our consultations. We offer free 15-minute calls to see if there's to build a relationship and see if it works both ways. And if it does, then we'll move on to the next steps.
Cool. So, I mean, you have so much knowledge, man. I hope you put together some kind of course or class or training, like more structured in the future. Like, are you planning anything like that?
Yeah, that's all coming. It wasn't a plan, but with just the flood of so many people, this is what they want. So if the people want it, then I got to build it.
Right on. Cool. And once again, that'll further your mission of getting more people to eat local food, because you could create farms all over the country through a network of people that you've trained. And that's what I have a microgreens guy, Larry, who does that exact same thing. He's creating little small microgreens farms in people's houses all over the country by training them and getting them to do it. So you could do that, the same thing with mushrooms, man.
That's exactly what we're doing. Our mission statement is to grow food where it's eaten. Obviously, we can't grow all the food here. So I used to be an educator. I was an assistant principal and an English teacher for a while. Education is a huge passion of mine. So I would love to further our mission of growing food where it's eaten by showing other people how to do it.
Wonderful. And I know since my last episode is you started your own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So what's your YouTube channel and other social media? And I'll post it all down below because I want you guys to check it out.
It's all straightforward. It's all Long Beach mushrooms.
Long Beach Mushrooms,
Yeah,
links down below in the description, guys. Follow Long Beach Mushrooms on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, want more episodes here at Long Beach Mushrooms where I dive deep into what they're doing here to grow the mushrooms and, more importantly, get them out to people and create more local food, sustainability, as well as create community. Hey, give this video a big thumbs up. More importantly, share this with other people that are interested in mushroom farming for profit. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes. I come every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as many videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are wealth of knowledge. Over 1,600 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to teach you guys about growing your own food at home. So with that, my name is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time. And until then, remember, keep on growing.